Hi Bible Builders, I'm Ryland, and I'm so excited to dive into this new book together. To be honest, I really love this book. Not a typical crowd pleaser, but I kind of love how it's filled with a bunch of rather bizarre and strange stories spanning over 400 years. Judges covers a ton of ground, so there's only time for full throttle action. Jeff set us up last week with some great pointers, but I've actually got a special roadmap to Judges that I think you'll find helpful. Let's follow it, shall we? Israel does what is evil in the sight of Yahweh. The people are given over into the hand of their enemies. Israel cries out to Yahweh for help. Yahweh answers their prayers and raises up a leader. The Spirit of God comes upon the leader. Yahweh gives Israel a mighty deliverance. People return to the Lord and peace is regained for a season. This pattern happens at least 12 times throughout the book. 12! So keep your eyes peeled for this in the weeks ahead. Okay, enough background info. Here comes Judges chapter 3. So, we find ourselves in a bit of a sticky situation. Joshua passed away, and so has the entire generation that followed him. Israel's back is turned on Yahweh. They're serving false gods, and they have allowed foreigners to dwell in their promised land and marry their descendants. A big no-no. The Israelites were doing evil in the sight of Yahweh, and so they were attacked and defeated and enslaved to the Moab king named Eglon. After years of being in bondage, they cry out to God for mercy and help. If anything, it's maybe surprising they didn't cry out sooner. And so, Yahweh answers their prayer and raises up a champion deliverer named Ehud. He was left-handed because his right hand was crippled, which is an important detail to keep in mind during the rest of the story. One day, Ehud goes to meet with the Moab king, Eglon. He brought him gifts of fresh fruit and resources that the Israelites gathered from the land. But Ehud was actually on a secret mission to deliver the Israelites from their bondage. He had a huge, double-edged sword hidden under his coat and strapped right around his right thigh. And it was probably only because of his crippled right hand that Ehud walked right past the king's security, posing no real danger. Well, as the story goes, Ehud got the king of Moab alone and was able to kill him and escape unnoticed. He went back to his people, sounded the trumpets, and rallied the Israelites together to attack the Moabites. With Ehud leading the charge and Yahweh on their side, the Israelites fought the Moabites until their enemy had to surrender. And then there was peace in the land for 80 years. And 80 years of peace is great if it's happening to you, but it isn't much of an exciting story. So I guess we'll leave it there. I know, I told you guys this story is a little unusual, but I love it because it shows us that God uses people who are not perfect. No matter what handicap we have or disadvantages we've experienced, God can still totally use us. In fact, it's actually our greatest weaknesses that can become our greatest strengths. So, on days when you're not feeling super awesome, remember, we don't have to hide what we're not great at or be ashamed of our weaknesses. And that, my friends, is very good news. Yes! Starting this week, every time I come across good news, I'm going to add it to my good news jar on the mantle over there. We'll see how long it takes to fill it up. Okay, now, this week's build challenge is to create Ehud delivering the Israelites. You have a couple options here. You could build his secret meeting with King Eglon, or you could build him and the armies of Israel charging towards the Moabites. Or you could even build the peace that followed Ehud's leadership. We can't wait to see what it looks like. Bye. He brought him gifts of fresh fruit. He brought him gifts of fresh fruit. That's hard to say.